Hello and welcome to F1 Now. In this video we're going to be talking about the biggest winners and losers of the Brazilian Grand Prix sprint weekend. What a weekend filled with amazing racing and spectacular moments. We will surely be thinking about some of them for quite some time. Wow, before we even got the race started, on formation lap Leclerc suffered from a loss of hydraulics, and it was really heartbreaking hearing him say, "Why am I so unlucky?" And that just pretty much sums up his year with Ferrari, a year to forget. Moving on to the start, things started off really massively at the back with Hülkenberg pushing Magnussen, who was squeezed in between his teammate and Albon's Williams. So just like that, all three cars came together, but only ending Hülkenberg's and Albon's race. Even Ricciardo caught a tire stray, unluckily, which damaged his rear wing. As far as big winners go, I think Red Bull really got the most out of the weekend. From the sprint to the race, racking in a lot of points. But just looking at the main race, they really went all out. Verstappen up front did have to put up some defensive moves to keep Norris at bay, because it really looked like Norris had the pace to lead the race. And more importantly, Verstappen got his 17th win in the season, breaking his own record. It also has to be said that Checo also had an amazing race, fighting throughout the field, gaining crucial points to ensure that he seals the second position in the championship. Another team that had an exceptional weekend would have to be Aston Martin. Going back to basics has proven to be good for Aston Martin, resulting in glimpses of that pace we saw earlier in the season. These guys were flying in the sprint and the race. Now, it was nice seeing Alonso have a blast keeping Checo behind for about 30 laps. And for a second there, it looked like all that work was for nothing when Checo got the move down on lap 70. But Alonso was very patient with it, forcing Checo out of line into turn 1, which gave him the opportunity to stay close into the DRS zone, and boom, the move was on the final lap. But on the final stretch, they gave us quite the photo shoot finish. The final big winner for this weekend is going to be Lando for me. Lando gave it everything this weekend and made it a proper fight with Verstappen. And Lando is just going to have to wait for the first win. Now, this weekend, I don't think anyone stood up more than Mercedes in being the biggest losers. We all came into this one thinking that Brazil is their best chance at a win, because they have been dominant here for the past 2 seasons. But you could clearly see they took the wrong direction in the setup this weekend. Both cars just ate the tires, leaving no room for the drivers to push. And both drivers were just being dragged throughout the race, being overtaken everywhere. Russell eventually had to retire his car with overheating issues, but for Hamilton the torture continued, managing to just survive enough to get 8th after being overtaken so many times. For Mercedes, this has been an embarrassing race, and you really can't blame them if they wanted to just pack up and start the off season and forget about the next 2 races, because even those races will not play into the W14 sprints. Now that is it for this weekend's Brazil Sprint Weekend biggest winners and losers. The paddock takes a week off from racing, and then we will be back for the first time in a while racing in Vegas. And you can be sure whatever happens there will not stay there. So with that, thank you for watching this video, and bye for now.